have fought their butts off all year against all the odds. And we never splintered. We stayed together. We had some tough losses. We had some tough situations. They found a way today. I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be their coach.
You seem to be getting a little emotional. Why?
It's my school. This is home. That's it.
If somebody would have told you 2 weeks ago that you would be the head coach of this program, you would knock off your rival and you'd be going bowling, what would you have told them?
I don't believe you. Pinch me. Pinch me.
Welcome back to the Boundary Corner podcast. I'm Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Sigla, buddy. JC was emotional after that one, buddy.
We were emotional after that one, man.
Yeah.
Oh my! If you are a Virginia Tech fan and you did not listen to that post game after the 29-24 win to hold on to the cup in Charlottesville, I don't know what to say, because I think that's the way most of us feel about Virginia Tech football.
Yep.
It's, I listened to it again, and I got a little allergies going, but it's a little, hear him say, "This is my school.
Yep.
This is home."
It definitely hit different, and I mean, you can see how much it means, and I think that's the big thing that we kind of get out there, and that we want to. That makes us unique, that makes being a part of this fan base unique, is that when somebody really cares, you see it.
Yes, you do.
And people that have been a part of it, they feel it and they show it. And you can see that all over JC's face. I mean, and we've seen it since, he was named interim head coach. I mean, it's been emotional for him to be in this position. And it definitely, I think, was big for him to go out, capture a win against a rival, and get a team that a lot of people had written off to a bowl game. Give those seniors and those guys that are stepping away from the program after the season one more chance to go out there together and get it done. So that's big.
You're damn right it is. And it was such an emotional game of highs and lows, good and bads. And when you come out with the win and then hearing that, and you said it. Yeah, when you're connected to this program, it's different and it hits different. And when you're someone of our age who's followed the program 20 plus years, you remember the name JC Price. We were young adolescents when he played for this team.
Yep.
I swear to God, Robbie Compton's his brother somehow. I don't know. I just do.
Yeah. Go back and check out the Going Camping episode with Robert Compton and see if you don't see some similarities but between our good buddy and JC Price there. So,
but it was,
and it's not just facial recognition. It's kind of the mannerisms, how they talk. I mean, there's a whole lot of things there that are similarities. So shout out to Robbie Compton there. He might be listening tonight.
He might be. He might not. It depends on if in his part of North Carolina, if he got internet signal, if it's a cloudy night.
Yeah, is the satellite internet bringing in enough juice for him to stream this bad boy?
We don't know. Well, y'all, of course, we are going to talk about the game. We are going to talk about the coaching dominoes that fell today in a little while. We're going to talk about our picks. Good weekends for both of us. But let's first of all, I had to wear this shirt tonight.
Hey.
Our state. The Commonwealth Cup stays home. And, Brian, we're going to start with the defense. And, y'all, Brian wrote it out here on our notes. It was a tale of two halves. And let's start first half.
Literally the worst of times and then the best of times.
It was. I mean, in the first half, they looked like an unstoppable force. They were going on drives. They were scoring. They put 21 points up in the first half. If you had told me or Brian, we both put the game in the 30s. If you told us after the first half this game was going to end in the 20s, I would have said you're out of your damn mind. we can't stop them. They can't stop us. It's going to be a race to probably 38 or 40.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I tweeted it towards the end of the first half. I was like, hope y'all took the over.
But it makes the under.
Yeah.
10 points.
Who would have thought? I mean, the way things were going, I was like, yeah. I know pace about midway through the second quarter kind of slowed down a little bit. Points were still being scored, but the pace of them slowed down. And then as we got into the second half, points were hard to come by. And but let's look a little bit more about UVA offense. I mean, Armstrong was absolutely dealing in the first half.
Yes, he was.
He was hitting all of his spots. Guys were open. Guys were getting away from coverages. Guys were exploiting some mismatches, particularly Jelani Woods.
He was dominating.
He was creating some really bad matchups for us in the secondary. The one that stands out is the one that he scored the touchdown on. Tisdale was late getting out there covering. Strong made a Olay business decision. Tisdale checked up. It was definitely nobody wanted a part of Woods going full steam into the end zone.
No, they did not. And that was one of them where I think us as a fan base, we saw that early on. When that play happened, that was their first score of the game. It felt like effort, right? It felt like the effort on that particular play was just gone. Because Tisdale had an angle. And if Tisdale goes at full speed, we know Tisdale can go at. I think he knocks him out short.
But it's very close. It's close. He'd have to reach it out in a pretty epic way, yeah.
And Strong the same way. Like he was going to have to make the play, and it was probably going to be a collision. If he gets the perfect tackle, he probably stops him. But I think that early on, I think us as fans, we saw it and it was just like, man, this they don't look fired up. They don't look in it, and it showed in the more the first quarter. As we got into the second quarter, it started changing a little bit, right? I mean, the big piece you can say is that interception that happened in the second quarter. We're down. They are driving, and it looks like we're about to go down 2 scores. And then all of a sudden, Tay Daly makes one hell of a play to get that interception.
Yep. He made a hell of a play there. I'll tell you, Artis did a good job of redirecting on that, which created the situation where Armstrong had to throw it wider than he wanted to. Daly stepped up, made the play. And now, what was looking like a situation that was about to get dire, now we're able to settle down a little bit, bring things back into kind of more of that dog fight that we were looking to get into instead of the potential, greatest show on turf that they were trying to pull in the first quarter and early in the second quarter there.
Yeah, that early in the second quarter, especially the first quarter going into the second quarter, we could not get off the field. We could not stop them on third. They got in the red zone. It was a guaranteed touchdown. But something, Brian, that you had mentioned, and this is where I'm going to kind of bring up the first of our points, were getting back to the coverage that has shown success. Cover 3 of the quarters, mixing in a little man here and there. Their drives in the first half were 10, 11, 10, and 6. That is a 6 play is usually your average drive, right? So when you're throwing in
6 to 8 is usually your average drive.
When Brian always talks about you want them to have to drive the field. Something you always talk about. Getting in the right coverages forces them to do that. And what it forced in that second quarter was they were at play 11 when he threw that pick. And if y'all remember where that wasn't like we were there in the end zone. That was about at the 30-yard line.
Yep.
It wasn't a super long drive. They were having a deep dunk, and eventually Armstrong made the mistake. And when that happened, yes, they scored one more time, But the juice was back there on the defense. The defense, I think, it was that moment of faith, right?
It was that moment where they said, all right, well, when we do things the right way, we can stop this team. They're not just going to be able to go up and down the field on us all game. The confidence levels shifted there. We still had an opening drive in the next quarter where points were surrendered, but overall, it seemed like a switch was flipped there where they were in a completely different mindset going forward. So that was big from an emotional standpoint, I think, for that defense, just showing, hey, we can do this. Let's do the right things. Let's play with intensity. Let's not wait on them. And I think that was the big problem, is that we were in some decent coverages for what they were doing, but we were waiting. We were reacting instead of trusting the reads and kind of forcing the issue. And some of that had to do with bringing a little bit more pressure later in the game, which made Armstrong have to get rid of the ball quicker, which meant that we could drive on the ball a lot quicker.
Yep.
And I think those things are what helped. And I think the big thing is that in the first half we struggled to get off the field on third down or bow up in the red zone, and that's kind of where things shifted a little bit for us going into the second half, because we started to be a lot better getting off the field.
Yep. They come out, they do drive the field, kick a field goal. So there it is right there. A third down stop. They were in the red zone when that happened. You force a field goal. You picked them off. They did get you a drive and got a touchdown. But now you've shown more and more, okay, we can stop them. That was the last points Virginia would score.
Yep.
If you told anybody, Brian, that at exactly 12 minutes, 30 seconds in the third quarter, UVA is not scoring another point, would you have made a bet?
I would have said you were full of shit.
So they don't.
And that's going to come up later.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Let's keep moving. So, again, Brian already mentioned about bringing pressure. I think what really changed in the second half, and you mentioned it, Brian, on Wednesday night, we've got to start mixing up the coverages underneath, right?
Yep.
I think the adjustments were made at halftime, and the looks underneath were different. And Armstrong, it wasn't dink and dunk. He was having to double clutch. He took a sack that hurt his ankle, and he was out for exactly just about a whole drive. But after that ankle, he was not himself. You could tell he could not get any force behind his balls.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the force behind the ball. I mean, that's one thing. He was still able to send the ball well. It wasn't quite to his normal standard. But the big thing is that he could not escape the pocket to extend plays, to give those receivers some time to get away from those initial drops or from those initial coverages in man. And I think that's where things kind of went into our favor, because we were able to, from a secondary standpoint, be full on in attack mode every snap.
Yeah,
because we weren't concerned about the scramble drill where we had to keep running with guys for 5 seconds or more.
Well, I think too, and you made a note of this, his balls weren't not flying off. He does not have the biggest arm, but he has a solid arm. And you could tell when they're out of shotgun, he drops back about 3 to 4 yards. So even a 10-yard play downfield is a 20-yard pass.
Yep.
And you can just tell. You talked about them breaking on the ball. Those balls were not getting there as quick or crisp. So
no, and he's definitely more of he throws based on timing, right? He's a very much a timing quarterback. So anything that's impacting that timing is going to impact the result. And we saw how much that was impacted. And like I said, that kind of fed into how we were playing on defense, because we knew that we could attack those in-cutting routes, attack those out-cutting routes, attack the hitches, because we knew that the ball wasn't always going to get there as long as we weren't interfering and as long as we, tried to make the tackle, which tackling was a up and down aspect of this game. There were times where it was okay, and then there was times where we had 3 guys get trucked by Brennan Armstrong going into the end zone.
There were times where we were pulling our hair out. There were times where we had tackles for loss and they got positive gains. And so many times this year, Brian, when we saw that happen, Syracuse, Notre Dame, West Virginia, what happened? We lost the game.
Yep.
We were giving them extra opportunities.
Yep.
And this week we didn't. And I just get frustrated because I love Jamari Connor. Jamari Connor might be definitely a top 3 player on the team I love. And there are times where Jamari, perfect form, pops the crap out of people, right?
Yep.
And then there's other times where Jamari forgets all technique. I'm just trying to lay the wood. He misses, or it's not a good enough hit. And he did that a couple times yesterday. And I think Jamari can be successful at the next level, but he's got to clean that up. He's got to.
He's got to clean that up. And, he's probably going to be – they're probably going to play him as like a inside-outside strong safety.
I think he's will. I think he could play a will linebacker. I think
he could probably play a will linebacker if you in a pinch.
He's about 10 pounds, and he'd be a will.
And and other guys had some questionable. We talked about Dorian in the first half, but second half, Dorian Strong looked like every bit of the player he was on his best game in that second half. Breaking on balls, coming up and making plays, as aggressive tackling in the second half as I've seen him the entire time he's been a Hokie. And, after you see an Olay against Jelani Woods in the first half, and then you get that type of player coming out in the second half, that's a pretty big switch, right? And Tay Daly, I know we talked about his pick, but Tay Daly probably had his most impressive game as a Hokie as well.
Well, he seemed to be in on just about every play, right, in some way, shape, or form, whether making tackles. He led the team yesterday with 9. He had 2 pass deflections. Obviously, the one at the end of the game was the biggest. Had the pick. But it just seemed like 17 was everywhere. And, for a guy like Tay Daly, I don't think Tay – I want to say that at Vandy, at the time he was there, they never went to a bowl. I saw him put that up on Twitter, like bowling.
Yep.
And for guys like that, getting that 6th win, huge, right?
Absolutely.
To a first bowl game. And I wish Tay Daly had another year or 2 because you can just see he's starting to get his footing in the way he plays.
Yeah, the only downside of if he did have another year, would that matter with potentially switching schemes? Would that kind of set him back to kind of where he was coming in? So it's kind of a bad situation either way you slice it there for him. Definitely wish he could be a Hokie another year because he definitely showed me something this year overall. He's had some good games, some less than good games, but he's definitely rounding into form when it counts here. And that's pretty big. So, good on Tay. It was sad that we ended up not having him for the majority of the Miami game.
Yes.
And we saw what happened in that game. So,
yeah, he was definitely a difference. He would have been a difference maker in that game when he got ejected for that, basically just a hit. Let's not get into the personal foul targeting penalties again. That we could do a whole episode on that. But again, I talked about mentioning him everywhere, and you saw him in the run game, and they did not have a run game. They got 76 yards, about 3 yards a carry. We mentioned it, like they can't have a run game. Their longest run, I think, was Armstrong's scramble for the touchdown. Their running backs didn't break 10. Neither of their running backs got a true first down.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see. And that being more or less a weakness of our defense on the whole for the year. Having that type of outing against your rival is pretty big because we didn't let the running game impact the game. Like we said, you got to make sure that you don't let a strength become a weakness or a weakness become a strength for the other team. And we didn't do that. We kept the running game in check, and we were like, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us throwing the football all game. And the big thing is that once they didn't have a running game and once Armstrong was starting to struggle in the second half, They had absolutely zero counterpunch. Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
None. And, the other thing was they took some shots downfield, but if you watched them play this year, they weren't hitting on much downfield, right? It wasn't just pop, pop, touchdown. Again, forcing them to drive.
Yep.
And that's the other thing, right? Once they couldn't counter and continuously hit deep balls, and they knew it was going to be dink and dunk, they had a couple good screenplays. The big one was they ran that Keaton Thompson trick play, and it looked like it was going to be good, and then that ball got knocked out. Norrell Pollard jumps on it again.
He knocked it out and then jumped on it. The fact that he's that far down the field making that play to begin with is impressive. Then he gets on the ball too.
Very true. So it was almost like for them, they didn't have much of a run game all year, but they'd always been able to go downfield. And when we kind of took that away from them, and they knew like they didn't know what else to do. They didn't know what else to do. And it showed a lot. Now, we'll say this. We mentioned Keontae Thompson, Jelani Woods, Wicks. We did not mention Billy Kemp, and he had a great game. 8 catches, 102 yards. I mean, I don't think that's his career game, but it might be his game of the year. But, Brian, he
he got popped by Tay Daly and took the Browns to the Super Bowl.
I know you played at a collegiate level, it happens. But when it's like the hit and then you see it, it's like, I know what caused that. He hit you really hard. And I mean, I don't think that changes the momentum. Just a funny moment in the game when you see it happen.
It's got to be talked about because, I mean, you don't see it every day. You don't see it every day.
You don't.
You
hear about it.
You hear about it.
It's like, oh, yeah, remember that time so-and-so happened? Yeah, I did it on the field. You did what? But this was visibly seen.
Yeah. Poor equipment managers.
I would just, if you were an equipment manager, be like, hey, I need to get cleaned up. Nah, you're good.
No, man.
Nah, dog. We're good.
You can take that home with you.
Exactly.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
We'll write that one off.
Hey, let's go. One last thing on the defense. The final drive, they get it down inside the red zone. I'm sure you were like me, Brian. I'm sure you were going through my head. Yes, we've had one red zone stop. We're much better in the second half, but you just had this. I had the pit of my stomach like not this.
Oh, I knew we were going to have to score a touchdown with 30 seconds left to win that game at that point, or at least kick a field goal. Sorry, we were going to be down 2 at least.
We were going to be down 2, and then third down, and we've gotten them behind the sticks.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 7 from the 8. We're like, okay, well, we're going to force them to do something. They're going to try to get at least half of this yardage, right? If they don't go to the end zone, they're at least try to get half this yardage. No, ladies and gentlemen. They do the dumbest situational play call I've ever seen. And I've watched Brad Cornelsen call offense for 6 years.
Yes, we did.
They went for a thick 6.
A throwback to
but not any thick 6. A throwback where you throw it to the offensive tackle
3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
No, 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Further?
Yeah, he caught it at the almost 10 yard. He caught it at the 17.
Good Lord.
He caught it at the 17. So your grand play of getting at least 5 yards of positive yardage is to start 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage with like your 3rd slowest player on the field. And not only that, you're calling that type of play when you didn't check to see what coverage we're in. We're in damn zone coverage. Dorian is just standing there looking at the action going on in front of him. So he sees this from a mile away and is there to make a tackle 5 or 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
It was a 6 yard loss. and he did not hesitate. He went right after him. He got physical. He went right after Big Boy's legs, and he fell. And my only thought was where they were on the field, right, Brian? We talked about Armstrong's ankle, right, being hurt.
Yep.
They were at the what? They could get to the 2. They were at the 9, right? 8 or 9.
They were at the 8. It was 3rd and 7 from the 8.
They have a 5-yard shotgun snap plus a 3-yard drop. His ankle's hurt. He's having to push it 15 or 20 yards in the end zone because they don't have anything under center or roll out. Whatever way he was going, as far as like if they were going to, okay, let's do a sprint option, right? That's where the play has to go because he can't cut back because his ankle's done. I think they were just trying to say, if we can fool him with this, he'll get to like the 5, and then we can put everything in the playbook. But again,
can I tell you why this is dumb, though? Can I tell you exactly 100% why this is dumb? Because even if you don't use a Jelani Woods in this situation, you have 3 other tight ends that you can put on the field and leak them out. And you know what you can do to a tight end that you can't do to your damn offensive tackle? You can throw a screen forward, a forward pass where he catches it like a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and then by the time he turns up, he's at least getting something. Instead of throwing it to your tackle almost 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage because you can't throw it forward because he's a freaking tackle.
Brian loves offensive linemen, but this is like the day it's like you're done, right? Like this made you.
I instantly went to the Varsity Blues, Billy Bob, trying to do the freaking hook and ladder. This ain't the damn play where I run downfield and act like I'm lost, is it? Yes, this is that play, and it happened exactly how it happened in practice. It did not happen how it was drawn up in the friggin' final game. It happened like it happened in practice. It was a clown show.
Except he caught the ball, and yeah. All right. So defense staying 29-25. We've got to look at the offense, though, because that was – we produced. The Hokies offense produced. Even with one of the most counterproductive game plans and play calling I have ever seen. I mean, like you want to go hit someone. It was so dumb.
As bad as the one call that OC had for UVA, I mean, Corn had about 10 or 15 of them made in this game that were not quite as questionable, but were certainly awful. And let's start with the decision to, against all odds and against whatever the flow of the game was, keep throwing Connor Blumrick in the game to stop what was otherwise a productive drive. And this is no knock on Blumrick. Blumrick did what Blumrick does.
Yep.
But when you got a hot hand, you got to stop with the rotating. You got to just ride it. And there were 3 hot hands.
There were 3 of them. Raheem Blackshear, Braxton Burmeister, and Tay Robinson. I mean, those guys single-handedly on the offense won this game. And I mean, Raheem Blackshear, 18 carries, 169, almost 9.5 yards. He broke a 50-yarder. And
there was a point where he was averaging over 11 a carry, and for some reason we kept running Connor Blumrick into the line of scrimmage. I'm like, what are we doing? Because Raheem Blackshear was having a career day. He had a career day regardless. Like he could have been like close to 250 yards, and we just rode him the whole game.
If we did, yeah. Because Blumrick got 10 carries. You imagine giving 5 of those to him and 5 more to Malachi. We probably could have broke 380 on the ground. Not even.
And again, we're not knocking Blumrick. I think there were situations where putting Blumrick in the game made sense. But a lot of times it was drive killing situations.
It was stupid. That's what I said. It was so counterproductive. And with him yesterday, Brian, it was everything, right? It was inside zone. It was outside zone. It was his decision making. Some of the stuff he did yesterday. And I know UVA has a porous offense, but we saw this a couple weeks ago against Duke. When he saw a hole, he made a cut. He did not hesitate, and he hit. It reminded me of Khalil Herbert. so much.
It reminded me of how also bad the game plan was against Miami, that you gave this guy 5 carries in the whole game.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about UVA, but God, that was dumb. But I mean, Heem had a day. I am beyond thrilled that I talked this guy up for 2 years, and now that they finally gave him some volume, he's showing out.
True.
And not just because I look smart, because I knew he was capable of it. On tape. We needed to see it with enough volume and with enough effort and with enough focus. And I think some of it was on him, and he focused in. And I think that's been the big difference.
Can I say this about Raheem Blackshear? And it tells you how, again, it's the question of the coaching staff that's leaving. You know how many yards he has in 12 games this year?
How many?
711 on the ground. 711. And guess what, Brian? As we start looking through here, literally it's taken the Georgia Tech game in the last couple weeks in Syracuse. He got 80, 80, 117, 169.
And got almost no carries against Miami, and
you said 5. He got 2 carries against Miami.
Sorry, yeah, I was giving Corn more benefit of the doubt than he deserved there.
8 against Notre Dame, 7 against Pitt.
Why he's not getting at least 15 a game is mind-boggling.
It's absolutely stupid, and it's why that guy in the booth is going to be a high school coach next year at best.
Well, the bad thing is that a lot of this wasn't game flow. I mean, West Virginia is probably the only game flow wise, and maybe Pitt that he figures to be out of the game plan by halftime.
Well, hold on. What about the West Virginia when we turned the ball over deep in territory a couple times? Yeah. Think about that. Like right there, you're like, okay, well, we don't need to necessarily pass. We're down here. Use your bread and butter. But let's not digress. Let's talk about Braxton next, because again, with him, definitely probably his best overall game as a Hokie. Maybe last year was a little bit better passing wise, but 141 through the air with a touchdown, 6 of 14. That's not a pretty stat, but when you're sitting some bombs downfield, it helps. But 12 for 115 and that 70-yard run.
Yep.
He had the options. When he had the options, he kept some. And when he kept some, it kept them off balance. He knew what he was doing. You'd see him read it. He'd pull it. He'd take the angle. He knew exactly. He ran smart. He ran very smart on a lot of those read options.
And if you feel like if you'd have given him a little bit more of the keys earlier in the season, you probably could have saw some more of this. Now, I know kid's been beat up, and some of that is on Corn. Some of that is on just flow of the game. I mean, shit happens. But most of the time when he got injured, it wasn't on a design keeper.
No.
So
I think what really sucks for us as fans is you saw him in some of those reads when he pull it. He essentially was looking to get yards and get out of bounds, right? Yep. When he saw the players coming, I'm going to get 8 yards. I'm going to live to fight another day. You imagine doing that in some of the games we lost and some of the games that were close this year, like the Richmond game or even the Carolina game, where we're learning more and more every day that he wasn't given the option to read. The Carolina game could have been a full freaking 35-10 game if they would have gave him those options. Yeah. And it sucks for him because he is a limited passer, but, he did hit some beautiful balls downfield. And I tell you, the prettiest was that slot post to Tay Robinson.
Yep.
I mean,
Tay had a step. Braxton put it right in the basket. Touchdown.
Easy. And Tay had a heck of a day as well. Tay, only 3 receptions for 89 yards, including the 61-yarder for the touchdown. But they ran a little Blacksburg special. little zone read right, little fake to reverse. Braxton going. Braxton looks like he has good hands. Braxton 6'1", 200, a little wiggle. I think Braxton should go ahead and learn how to catch the ball more. Might help him out. But full stop with no Trey Turner, holding him out for precautionary reasons in the offensive game plan.
Yep.
Tay Robinson kind of showed me he's going to be number one next year, unless the next coaching staff kicks him out. If they do, they're idiots, and we will go ahead and say that right now. He's a number one next year because I think he can go X, Y, and even in his things he can do in the slot, it gives you kind of that piece where we can put Tay anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of that slot that you can line up anywhere. I mean, he's most natural in the slot position, but you can still line him up outside. You're not going to send him on, a ton of midfield fades or anything like that. That's not his game. But a post and anything underneath, if we have a coordinator next year that figures out how to attack the middle of the field, he's going to friggin' feast. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to. And speaking of receivers, Lofton. Another good game by Lofton.
Oh, yeah. A couple catches for 42 yards, a big 35-yarder downfield. And as I'll put the stamp on Tay as being a 1, I think Lofton's a 2. He's shown so much so quick. Get you a little angry that we misused him throughout the year, as we've misused numerous players. But I think he's slot, though, next year. Strictly the slot guy. What do you think?
I could see that. I could see him. I could see him rotating into the slot anytime that Tay's outside. And I think that's the thing, is that he's probably a little less fluid than Tay. I don't think he's somebody that can really bump outside regularly. But I think we've got other guys on the receiving core that should be able to do that. We do have a lot. Say the problem that we have right now is we probably have more slot receivers that are ready to play than we have snaps that we can give them.
True.
Because I think Jalen Jones can probably play inside and outside. I think there's a couple other guys on this on the team that are probably more built for the slot, but are probably going to have to play outside, at least in the short term, just because of the personnel that we have. But I think Lofton has definitely separated himself from the rest of the guys as being, kind of probably the number 2 reliable receiver going into next season.
Yeah, I think the off season and next spring are going to be critical for Jalen Jones. I think Jalen Jones, we saw that catch over the middle. If he can become that steady Eddie Y, I don't think he's an X quite yet. That's going to give a lot of options for what we do with Tay and Lofton throughout the year. All right, Brian, let's just talk about these couple plays where I questioned it. It's 4th and 2, and it's probably more 4th 2.5. They have Blumrick in there, and
it's a long 2. It's at best it's a long 2.
Okay, that's cool. We have Blumrick in there. I'm like, okay, this is fine. We're going to run some sort of power. He goes under center. Okay, we're going to run the ball downhill. Maybe we'll do a fake boot, give him an angle to the edge. The play that was called, as stupid as a nice play was to the offensive lineman, it ain't far behind it.
Yeah, this is definitely the so this was the play before that happened. So this is the play before and I said, "Hold my beer."
No. This is earlier. This is early.
That's what I'm saying. So I said, "Hold my beer" with the.
Later. I thought you meant like right after. Yeah. Like no, that wasn't right.
No. This is the one where Corn had a bad call and then Anai said, "Hold my beer" later. This was awful. And again, it's a sneak. It's pretty much 4th and 3. I mean, it was everything but that 3rd yard. Yeah. And it was dead to rights. I mean, we didn't even get. We might have got 3 inches on it.
Yeah.
Maybe we got 3 inches. And it was just an awful situational call. And then we had the play later. We get Trey recovering the onside kick after the safety, and we got Blumrick in there. And this is where you question. It's not. I'm not faulting Blumrick for trying to make a play, and then unfortunately Gallo gets into him and knocks the ball out of his hands. I question why you're not riding your horse to close out this game. Well, because you're 5 yards from field goal range. A first down closes out the game.
First down closes it.
Just give it to your horse and let him get the first down. Blumrick at that point was averaging about 4 yards a carry.
No,
maybe less. Even a little less.
Less, like 3.
Yeah, 3. I mean, but and Heem is averaging just under 10 at that point. Come on, just use common sense here. This is another Corn trying to outthink everybody, and then he outthinks himself.
Well, it's not even outthinks himself. You sit here and it's there. You're deep in your own end anyway, right? We're 39. I think that was the yard line. I'm sitting here and it's just like you run inside 3 times. You force them to use their timeouts. If you don't get it, you're right in Parker's range anyway. You would have been. He's hit 50-plus yarder already this year. So even if you don't gain another yard, it would have been, 55, 54, give or take. Based on their defense, you're probably going to gain at least 5 to 6. Inside. You always see it. Why fumbles rarely happen inside the tackle, right? Unless somebody just nails a perfect play. Where do fumbles happen? Going outside because it's space, protection. You don't have your guys in front of you. So he goes against the Cardinals' sin. I'm going to do this fancy stuff. No, dude, you're an idiot. I don't know football, and I'm sitting here like, just run the ball up the gut 3 times. Force them to burn all their timeouts. So at best, if we don't get the first down, even if you average 3 a carry, it's 4th and 1. And then you can roll the dice and say, you know what? We're going to go one more time up the gut, right? One more time up the gut. We're going to close this game out. Or you know what? We're going to take the points. But, So, again, we win 29-25. The Cup stays home. 2 in a row. 21.
Hey, the streak begins again.
The streak begins again. 21 of 23.
Yep.
21 of 23, which is just insane.
And it took it took them having a generational defense to get one of those and a generational offensive player to get the other.
Yep. Says a lot. All right, Brian, before we get into looking at the coaching dominoes falling today, we are going to take a quick pause for a message from our digital partners.
As we take a quick break, we'd like to tell you about getting your free website report from our digital partner, Grassroots Digital Marketing Studio. They'll tell you how your website ranks on Google, on-site SEO, and social media. No commitment to buy anything. You can get your free report by visiting grassrootsdigitalstudio.com/free-website-report. Now back to the episode.
All right, guys, if you have not been paying attention today, let us update you. Probably our 1B, Billy Napier out of Louisiana Lafayette, goes to Florida. It broke about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I think about 4:30. The Florida official account released it. Now the question
he dropped a thank you to UL shortly after.
Yep, he is going to coach them this weekend. So that's some very unseen. Is usually when a guy does what that is, they don't coach the next game. It's just, but he's coaching Saturday. The question is, Brian, did we put an offer in? Do you think we put an offer into him?
I definitely think we kicked the tires. I think this was probably something where I don't think we necessarily had something in like a handshake agreement and then Florida swooped in. I think this was more he was listening, we were talking, Florida started talking more. And, once Florida came open, somebody accepts Florida over Virginia Tech. I get it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And you hope that we start winning more toss-ups like that in the future. Whether it's recruiting or trying to get a coach to come to our program. But you get it. It's SEC. It's in a more winnable division of the SEC.
Really?
Despite more winnable than the West right now. I don't think they're quite as deep. I think they are good, but I still think the West is deeper.
Okay. There's no question. I'm interested to see the contract figures. I'm going to say 7. I think if we offered, we were probably about 5.5, maybe 6. Probably 7.
I'd say 5.5. Anybody that is in that realm of desirable is probably what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Anybody that has no or less head coaching experience is probably going to be around that $4 million mark.
Exactly. But you get it right. They are an SEC power. They've already got a roster full of talent.
They've got a cabana on the back of their football facility.
Ron loves the cabana there. And believe it or not, you can say culture. And like, there are some kids that's going to sell them. Some kids it won't. Some kids it will. I think the bigger
they got the Jordan brand too, so that's something to be said about that too.
There's only 3 schools that have the Jordan brand: Michigan, Florida, UNC, that I know of. Might have had another one, but for Napier right now,
Does Oklahoma have it?
Why don't you research that? You effort that. But here's the deal with Florida right now. No coach has made it past season 4 since Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's been gone for Oklahoma does have the Jordan brand. Yeah. We'll talk about them in a few minutes. Nobody's made it past season 4. And Mullen had a struggle season this year, but Mullen came out the gate, won 10 and 11 games, went to an SEC championship, had an 8-3 year last year, has definitely a super down this year. They go 6-6. He's fired. It wasn't, you had Muschamp come out the gate hot. McElwain had still had some good seasons. They fire him. It's one of those jobs where, to me, I know you said it the other night, I don't think they're in Texas territory yet. They're inching, though.
Yeah.
They aren't giving guys time to fully establish their culture and to truly coach. And,
it's not necessarily the first sign of trouble like Texas, but it's about the second, right?
Yeah. But what was it with Mullen? Like they were like, he's like 2-8 in his last games against this. It's like, okay, that's going to happen. Like they pulled the plug quick. So
they saw recruiting trending down for them on top of one bad season. They're like, all right, we're getting the fuck out of this business.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Once you dip below like 75 or a 75% win percentage, they're going to fire you. Oh, you're at 67, 68? Yeah. Win like 9-10 games every year. See ya. We don't deal with that here. So it's interesting he goes there, especially after waiting on Auburn, because when he turned down Auburn and South Carolina last year, South Carolina I completely understood. That is a hell of a rebuild, tough place to win. Auburn I didn't, because Auburn had shown with Gus they would give a guy 5 to 6 years, right? If you had success early, they'd ride it for a while before they let you go. Florida don't. So I hope Billy Napier is successful there. I really do. But if he starts if he goes 9-3, 9-3, 9-3, they will fire him. They'll be like, see you later, bud. All right.
Yeah, and I mean the big thing with Napier is that he can recruit, so I think you'll see a bump in that. Yeah. And I think they'll probably give him a little bit more leash if they're getting the recruiting classes in there, because they think, all right, in time these players will come around. I think the reason that you saw them pull the trigger so quick on Mullen is that recruiting didn't fall off the deep end, but it was slowly trickling out of their normal comfort range, on top of the wins also going down as well.
It went from the 7 to 10 where they're used to like 15.
Yep.
And it's a weird year. So now I think that one kind of, you can't say it was expected. I think most people pegged it. He's probably going to go to Florida. The one that broke today, though, holy shit. When this broke, there were rumors yesterday of LSU, and I thought that was bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm glad I thought it was. Lincoln Riley to USC. Wow.
Yeah, this makes more sense than Lincoln Riley to LSU, in my opinion.
True.
Because he avoids having to win in the SEC. He gets to recruit within a 3-hour range of where he works, and really that's all he has to do. He really doesn't have to leave Southern California to recruit.
Nope.
It's kind of that prestige job. Whereas, I know Oklahoma is also a prestige job, but you don't have to make the college football playoff every year as USC to keep that job. Also, the path to the college football playoff is a hell of a lot easier than it is in the Big 12 and a hell of a lot easier than it's going to be in the SEC.
Damn right. Well, I don't know if you saw the tweet, and I wish I could give credit to who put it out there. Apparently, Lincoln Riley did not want that move to the SEC. And I get that, right? It's like we're going from a good league to the best league.
Yep.
And we're going to probably be in the side with, let's see, the best team and the best head coach, 2 offensive gurus like me, LSU, who has won 3 national titles in the last 20 years, A&M, who gets to recruit all of Texas, and Missouri.
Yep.
And maybe Texas. We can beat Missouri every year. We're going to be in a dogfight and everything else. So, like, Lincoln made a business move. And also you wonder if Lincoln's looking at the NFL. Because out of all the programs, you go to USC and you're successful there, there is a very good chance that the NFL will call you.
Yep.
And, you've already seen it. If you go check 247 out, how many of the California kids he's recruited to Oklahoma, the crystal balls are flipping. Kids are decommitting already.
The flip.
And
yep.
That's one reason why it's starting to get a little irritating with Witt. If he has his guy, like, you need to get this now. Because
we got the portal's already happening. We heard some whispers about some folks we were deep in on potentially entering the portal. Some guys that we had targeted this cycle that are now decommitting, opening up their recruitment fully, because obviously not everybody wants to take a trip out to Southern Cal. Yeah. A lot of the footprint that Oklahoma's recruiting is, Mid-Atlantic, East Coast, South.
They're all over. They're a national brand. They obviously got to focus in Texas a ton, a little bit more in the Southeast, but they'll go to California. Yeah. They'll come into Virginia as they did last year. So they're more of a national footprint. But for us, it's like, I see this and it's like, you get the new coach in here because it could be somebody that like a 4-star loves. And it's like, yeah, you lost him or he's going there. Yeah, I'm going to go there now. I wouldn't go to him over here, but I'd go with him in there. So Witt needs to get on this. To me, it needs to be done this week. He needs to make the move this week. There again,
if we don't hear by December 1st, I'm going to start getting antsy. I know you're already getting antsy.
I'm antsy already. Well, because now you've got Oklahoma open, right? That is a premier top 10 job. So, who are they going to go after? You feel like it's probably where we are right now. It's probably a few guys that we haven't really contacted. But there's going to be
a lot of their targets are going to be guys that are out of our pay range by default. True. But if they don't hit on those, then that's when they start creeping into the top end of what we're looking at that's left. And then we've got, there's another job open, LSU, and we're hearing, Stoops from Kentucky might be somebody that they're looking at. So, this is really, if Kentucky comes open, that's a decent job right in our backyard.
That is a direct competitor. If Mark Stoops leaves and Mark Stoops either goes to Oklahoma or LSU, direct competitor. And when I say that, Charles Huff, Damon Chadwell, Tony Elliott, some of the names we mentioned last week, that's absolutely on their radar. Yep. And they've built a good culture there. The expectations aren't crazy. Mark Stoops is proving you can win 8+ games there a year and compete and get in a fight with Georgia. Lose the fight, but make it a fight, unlike some teams. So if Witt has his guy, he better get that ink dried this week, because if Kentucky comes open, they're going to steal somebody we probably won't.
Yeah, and Witt might already have his guy and he's not announcing, but he needs to go ahead and lock it up, because the longer that we wait, the greater possibility that guys get cold feet, start looking elsewhere, and you don't want to be in a battle if you already got a guy that's willing to sign. Go ahead and get this done. Yeah. And like we said, I'm not necessarily worried yet, but if we get past December 1st, if we're having the same conversation when we're putting together the next episode we're going to put out,
it's going to be ugly.
That's when I'm going to start worrying.
If Witt screws this up, they should just fire Witt, because you fired a guy deep in season, like you fired him and there was multiple weeks left, or 2 weeks left in the season. My first thought was, when you fired him, you had your guy, you needed to get him out of the door, get the pay structure straight, and then just get this guy to sign the deal.
Yeah, because if you didn't have your guy, you could have fired him earlier and played the longer game.
You could play the really longer game. Yeah. So, and Witt's keeping everything quiet. And you know what, Witt? I hope the next head coach makes you stop doing that bullshit. You don't need to keep everything quiet. Don't do it to fans, because right now I'm not the only one that's antsy. Enough people,
and he could still get it right, but I mean the drama here is a little bit more than is worth.
Why do we need drama? We need a new coach in place to keep a top 25 class together. Yeah. To keep one of the best running backs in Virginia here, to keep a potential best lineman in Virginia here, to keep a solid Texas quarterback here. It's like, I'm just going to drop it at 7:45. I hope it's dropped at 7:45 tomorrow morning, and there's an announcement, and there's a presser at 11. And it was perfectly done, but I'm getting worried about it. And, like, kind of who's left now? Huff, Chadwell, Healy, Duke's open now. We didn't throw that on here. Cutcliffe they essentially amicably departed today.
I mean, you still got the most of the coordinators are still out there. You still got Freeman, you still got Elko, you still got those guys.
You got Tony Elliott.
But I think the big thing that we're losing now is, we talked about our 1A and 1B, and we've already lost our 1B.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's still guys on the board that I'd be comfortable with, but every day it goes further, either it sounds like either they don't want the job or they're looking at other jobs. So lock it up, Witt, get it done, so we can go ahead and start building towards keeping his class together and building a coaching staff.
And that's going to be key, because trust us, y'all, when this coaching staff starts getting put together, I believe we're going to be going through fine-tooth comb with every position. Look for that episode.
We might have some fun guests on here to talk that through too.
Yeah. Episodes. I'm not even going to say episodes, because clearly what's happened in the last 6 years showed the value of having a really good staff. Because, can I ask this, Brian?
Go for it.
If the way it's going, would you have just rather Witt said, screw it, I'm going to keep Fuente, you're going to fire him, and him, and you're going to hire new people, and I'm going to sign off on every single one of them?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Okay,
until more guys are off the board, I'm not saying that's what I want.
I'm going to say a first name only. First name only. And tell me if you would have be like, nope, we need to do this. Mike.
Which Mike? I know which Mike.
You know,
if you're talking about our friend down in ECU, then yeah, that's not inspiring.
So again, it's Mike. Would you have rather been like, now keep Fuente and make him clean his staff out?
Nah, I still say that we needed to get out of the Fuente business. I think.
Okay.
By
the way,
I guess I'll say that because I don't think that's gonna be the route that we go. And I know that this is a hypothetical here, but I don't think we're going to end up with that type of candidate in mind. I think that it's going to be someone at least that we've discussed on this program or someone of that ilk. So no, I mean, I think culture wise, he had to go. I think the culture had been damaged beyond repair.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that's really where I'm landing on that.
Okay.
But
I'm asking
if he screws it up bad, then that's to be seen. But I don't think he's going to screw it up as bad as that.
Witt gonna need to go if he screws it up bad. He's gonna need to go. The other thing that I was going to, where'd it go? Hold on. No, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that.
Dwight Vick agrees with me here, so I like that.
I'm just asking because Dwight, and I hope you're still listening. Are you getting worried, Dwight? Are you worried because it's Sunday night? It's after 10 o'clock. The season is over. We're going to a bowl game. There is not even an inkling of who we're going to get.
I'm gonna go with the J.C. Price thing when he was talking about Beamer. If Dwight's not worried, I'm not worried.
Well, hold on, let's wait. Dwight, are you worried? While we move on here, because
there we go.
Dwight is concerned, everybody, and it needs.
All right, he's with us on that, so I think we're good. I think we're in a good place here, guys.
All right, Dwight, if you hear anything, hit us up. Especially me, because I'm going to be sitting here shaking the rest of the week, antsy, nervous. I'm working at home with nobody here, so it's quiet. So the thoughts that run through my head is, oh, God, we're going to hire this guy, and I want to throw things. So,
Curtis is going to need to ration that morning coffee so he doesn't go into full-on meltdown midday.
Dude, I'm already drinking like 28 ounces a day. If this gets bad, it's going to be like 40. I'm only having 3 giant cups before 10 a.m. I've already hit a couple people up and told them, like, listen, if you know who it is and you don't think I'm going to like it, you don't need to say who it is.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
No. I'll respect if they want to hold their source, but you need to tell me to go buy the bottle of Jameson's out of the liquor cabinet and start drinking it. So I'm slightly inebriated and slightly dulled to the fact of who we hire.
Man, if you do that, you're going to be throwing shit at the TV screen when the presser comes on.
Whoa. That's Irish whiskey. I don't do like other whiskeys do to me. That gets me nuts. So anyway, again, the dominoes are falling. More are going to fall in the coming days. Pretty much Dykes at TCU, the Washington and Washington State stuff. Let me look up that because I haven't even looked at the West Coast stuff. This is live right now. Whoa. The guy who interimed at Washington State, Jake Dickert, has been given a 5-year contract.
There it is.
Lawsuit is off the table. So that's wild. And I'm going to go to the Washington football site here. They have not gotten anything yet. See if there's any rumors. Get yours up, Brian. Folks, if you have a Washington scoop, feel free to hit us up. Efforting.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything popping up that I'm seeing. I mean, some of the podcasts out there are throwing out Kalen DeBoer, Matt Campbell, Justin Wilcox. But I mean, I don't know if those are like pipe dreams or if they're legitimate for them. So
They're also saying the guy who's at Fresno State might have a chance at this.
I did hear that earlier. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
hear that.
Wilcox or the guy for Fresno State wouldn't shock me. They're both West Coast guys.
That makes more sense for them, and that really doesn't put them at odds with anybody
Nope.
kind of in our radar. And I mean, we've heard a couple wild card names this week that we're going to keep to ourselves at this point for the VT job, but we'll see how that we'll see if those come to fruition. We don't feel comfortable enough with throwing those out there yet, so
do not even joke about it. All right, Brian, let's look at this. Hopefully, and by the way, if anything breaks coaching wise before we're out of here tonight, we're gonna talk about it. But we are gonna look real quick. Good Saturday for us. Good overall year. We are both better than coin flips. So remember that we're better than coin flips. So if we say something, you might have a good chance to get it right. But we both go 7-3-1 on Saturday, Brian. 7-3-1. Mike Gundy clearly took Oklahoma in the 4 because that pushed when he could have kicked the field goal to get it to 5. That was one we pushed. And then let's see. We both got NC State wrong. Although the final 2 minutes of that game and the final 2 minutes of the Tech game, what is it? Coastal Chaos and Atlantic Anarchy. I know they played UNC, but they came back and won that game, scored 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes. That's insane. But they could not cover. They could not cover. Wake goes up to BC and just blows the door. We thought it'd be a tighter game than this. They won by 31. They beat the brakes off BC.
Yeah, they were. I think they got a little bit of wake up call against Clemson, and they were much more focused in this game. And their quarterback, even I know he plays with a lot of passion, but he seemed a little bit more focused and consistent throughout. And once they got a lead, it was kind of it was easy to put them away at that point.
Yeah, it was really easy to put them away at that point. I mean, and they didn't turn it off.
No,
I mean, you beat somebody by 31 points. They did not turn it off anytime during that game. The next one, Brian got a Georgia Tech game right, everybody. Brian got and you got it right.
I'd like to thank God and everyone listening. And no, I'm just kidding.
And Uga, it was not even a question. Like once they got to 30, I think 31, it was like the question is how big is it going to be? Because Georgia Tech's not scoring.
No,
they're not scoring at all.
I mean, this is probably one of the better defenses that I think we've seen in a while.
Yeah,
probably since those really damn good Bama defenses.
Mid 2000s or mid 2010s. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I mean, they're nasty. And seeing how Bama looked against Auburn, it literally took Bama 40 minutes to score. And I mean, reality is they probably should have lost that game.
Any of y'all still in the Bill O'Brien bandwagon or nah?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, right now
I know being OC is different than being a head coach. I don't need y'all in my mentions on that, but I don't think it's necessarily the most awful hire we could have, but there are definitely a lot of question marks with that if that's somebody that's on our radar.
True, very true. FSU Florida, the hook got us on that one.
Yeah,
it was a 3-point game. We took FSU in 2.5. But I think Mike Norvell might be okay at Florida State. The guys,
I think if he gets another class or two under his belt, that's good, and they're starting to settle in and play the style of ball that he likes to play.
Yep,
it's starting to click for them. So that's why they've been more competitive.
Oh yeah.
And I think more of that is on the offense. I think the defense was always up and down. They had good games and bad games, but the offense has started to put a few things together now. and that's really kind of turned it for them. Obviously, we got the next one with Miami.
They blew the doors off for Duke, 47-10. I mean, that wasn't even a game. We laid 21, could have laid 31, and still been safe. Got that one right. So and then South Carolina Clemson, the battle of the Palmetto State. Brian and his love affair with Shane Beamer took the 11.5 points.
I do not have a love affair with Shane Beamer. I thought that the Clemson game against Wake was an aberration.
Nope.
I didn't think they were going to be as tight on offense in back-to-back weeks. And really 3 weeks if you look at it. I mean, the week before they didn't have a bad outing. Then you put it with the Wake game, and then now against South Carolina. And for all of the problems South Carolina's had offensively up and down all year, I mean, they've had a decent defense. And it didn't work out this game.
It did not work out. And Clemson's defense just clamped them. Just nope, you're not doing anything.
The third stringer looked like a third stringer.
Exactly. Kentucky, Louisville. I think we thought this game would be more competitive. I watched Stoops blew the doors off them. I mean, that wasn't a game. Like, I remember we were doing some stuff around the house, decorating Christmas, and I walk and it's like 14-7. I'm like, oh, okay. I like the 3. I think we're safe. I walk back in, it's 31-7. I'm like, 3 is safe. 3 is really safe.
Yeah, we're good.
So, we both got that one right. The Pitt game, Pitt easily wins over Syracuse. Makes you just go crazy about that game. We played against them. The Egg Bowl Thursday night, not as high scoring as I thought. Entertaining game. Ole Miss hangs on. Wins by 10. And then Michigan, Ohio State. You nailed that one, dude. You nailed getting the spread. And how much of that game did you get to watch? Because I know you were going to do some traveling.
I watched pretty much all of the second half.
So you saw the absolute, we are going to pound you, and we're going to pound you again.
Yep.
As an offensive lineman, when you see, actually, our game too, when you see that happening, what does it make you feel? Like, because they just...
Playing those type of games is like a euphoric feeling because you kind of get in this zone where you feel like I'm attacking every play. I'm imposing my will on the other side of the ball. They can't stop us. Even if they slow us down, we're going to hit them the next play. It's not going to matter. We're running down your throat. Fucking stop us because you're not going to do it.
Yeah, and
it's as empowering of a feeling as an offensive lineman as you can have.
Yeah, and I got to watch about half of the second half and kind of was trying to peek at it here and there. But, I mean, the stat line for Michigan was, 297. They almost broke 300, and that is a group, an Ohio State team loaded with 5 stars. One thing, and I always talk to this, my buddy Mike at work, a couple years ago, Michigan got torched, right, by Ohio State. Torched with the passing offense. They let go of Don Brown, old school, a lot of cover 1, cover 0s, a lot of mans. They brought in the McDonald kid, who is I look at some of the stuff he does, it's similar to Ham. Obviously, he's got a little more tenure. That's a modern day way to slow down with the athletes that Michigan gets, Ohio State. Yeah. Legitimately. They played, you could see cover 3, cover 4. They played some man. They blitzed occasionally. The 2 guys at the end are studs.
Yeah.
But
it's less that high risk, high reward system and more of a
drive on us,
grind it, and make them make mistakes, make them get antsy, make them get impatient. And it worked. And they did. And even when they weren't impatient, they were getting some stops. And when they got impatient, they were absolutely getting stops.
Yeah. I did not see that game playing out that way. I thought that Ohio State would still hit a few over the top, but Michigan stuck to their game plan, and they made that defense cry, Uncle.
Yeah.
I mean, that last drive where literally it was 6 runs and it was like 65 yards, it was just like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it. You will not stop us. We're going to close this game out. And something else. And I know the Virginia Tech fans up in Charlottesville rushed the field, which was hilarious to see. Terrell Smith planted the flag.
Rushed the field, several flags were planted. I think Brock planted one, somebody else planted one, Tyrell planted one.
But how about just overall, numerous fields were rushed. And this season has been great because what makes college football are the stadiums, are the fans, are the bands and the drum lines, are the chants. And when Michigan won, Michigan's a long-standing power. They're a blue blood. They're a top 10, top 5 team. They rushed the field. And I don't know if it was, they broke the Ohio State streak, which is huge. But it's just this feeling that, college football is one for me. It's always going to be one. I like watching the pro game. I play fantasy. I have a team. But I can sit and legitimately watch any college game at any point in time. That's why I have multiple TVs in my man cave. I need more than one. And with the NFL, if I miss a game, I'm not as upset. It is what it is. But it's the sport we love, man.
Yep. I will watch it. Any game that's on and I've got the time, I will sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I love watching the Hokies, but I really like watching any other team play football too, especially college football.
Yeah, and like yesterday, I watched a ton of Bedlam, and they rushed the field. And it was great to see that. Again, it's any game. And then when it's a rivalry game, especially in college football, it's a lot more smack talk. It's a lot more popping. It's a lot more trash talking, and it makes
some jawing after plays, referees having to step in, separate folks at times. And we saw it against Virginia, saw it a bunch, Ohio State, Michigan, saw it a bunch in Bedlam.
It was great.
Egg Bowl.
Everything was great. All right, Brian, let's go one more time. Let's make sure nothing has broken the last little while here. Have you seen anything?
I have not.
Okay. Well, if you've got nothing else to talk about, anything else you want to hit before we shut it out?
I mean, we can talk some Thanksgiving break. How was yours, man?
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Well, the microwave broke literally right after my wife put in the last batch of sweet potatoes because she throws them in there, nukes them for a while before she bakes them. It made a pop sound. So Saturday, why I didn't get to watch all the Michigan Ohio State game, is because I was installing a new one above the range. That was fun.
There you go.
Yeah. Ate tons of food. Desserts. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we ate lunch at Virginia Beach and then traveled to South Boston and ate another one for dinner at about 7:30. So we were
great time there.
Yeah, we got a little got a 3-hour drive in the middle there.
Yeah. Got a good break time. Here's the funny part. On Thursday, this is how I ate. I woke up, I ate like a Nutri-Grain bar at like 8 o'clock. About 11 o'clock, because we ate about 4. I sit there and I got to eat something. Because if not, the body's going to be screaming. Eat a sandwich. And then hammer 2 fully loaded plates. Just hammer.
Attaboy.
And then after that's done, about an hour later, big old piece of pecan pie, big old piece of chocolate pie. Like literally half a plate's worth.
I went with the dessert sampler. I had some pecan pie, I had some pumpkin pie, I had some apple pie, had some chocolate pie. One of each.
Sampler. The pecan pie was amazing, homemade. Oh, it's just it's love Thanksgiving. Always a fun day. I didn't get a nap this year though. I did not get a nap this year. I will say, I think it's okay. I slept really good on Thursday.
There you go. I got about a 20-minute snoozer just before we packed the car to leave. So I ate my 2 plates, had my dessert plate, hit a 20-minute snoozer. I guess kind of like right at the right towards the end of the first half of the game, the early game, or the start of the second half, somewhere in there.
All right.
Packed up the car, hit the road, got to South Boston about 7, ready for round 2. Only went 1 fully loaded plate for dinner, though. I couldn't do 2.
Well, good Lord.
So I'd done 3 fully loaded plates. Granted, I did not eat anything until 1:20.
Do a complete empty set. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
Right. What's your everybody, you got turkey. What's your one dish that's kind of that's not a normal, or what's your one dish that hits every year, gotta have that?
All right, so the thing I like to make the most and the thing I like to eat the most, I make a sausage dressing that's out of this world. So I will make that and then I will crush that. If it's not, I love turkey. That's kind of the go-to, but obviously that's on everybody's plate. So I'm not going to hype that up. The underrated team player there is anybody that can do Brussels sprouts right.
Ooh, yeah.
Underrated.
Very underrated. Very, very underrated. But we have Brussels sprouts all the time here at the house.
Hey, yeah.
I pick up Brussels sprouts at least 2 times a month because the way my wife cooks them, they're amazing. Shout out my wife. I had never really been a fan of this until her corn pudding.
Hey.
Her
corn pudding coming off the bench. Sinking the 3.
Well, it's always a huge helping on my first plate because I'm going mashed potatoes, turkey, loaded with gravy, rolls. We have a broccoli casserole. We don't do green bean. And then after all that richness, that little sweet corn, it pops. And she only makes it during the holidays. I don't require, no other time. But something
See, my wife's not a big Brussels sprouts fan, so we don't have Brussels sprouts very often throughout the year. Okay. So when it comes to Thanksgiving, when people are cooking for 10 people or more, Brussels sprouts come out. I go ahead and reserve. All right, well, you got this. We got 10 people, but I'm going to reserve a 4th of this Brussels sprout plate just for me. I've annexed it. Everybody else can split the remainder. I've annexed this section here.
This is mine. Do not touch. All right, man. Well, let's wrap it, dude. It is 11 o'clock. We have had multiple days off, and we have to wake up and go to work, school, and all
Let's
that
do it.
in the morning. So that wraps up this episode of the Boundary Corner Podcast. I'm Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Siegler.
Visit our website, boundarycornerbt.com, to listen to all of our episodes. While you're there, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube page and your favorite podcast source, including Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. We always let our buddy Jason Long play us in, play us out. Check him on Spotify and Apple Music. The Cup stays home over 365 days in just a few short times. As always, Brian, let's go.
Hokies.